Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, well, you can go ahead and reply with those emotes. If you're a tier 2, you get that Scythe emote. If you're not a subscriber, or if you don't feel like using those emotes, you can just say hi or someone else's emotes. And if you just want to be chill, not talk at all, you're not here to chat, you're here to lurk and enjoy and watch. I'm going to adjust my head here a little bit there. Just the head. I meant headphones, and that was weird. I didn't adjust my head. I adjusted my bandana and my headphones, and that's what I meant to say. It didn't come out that way, which was weird. Okay, that's where we're at. Lashbrook is here. Hey, Lashbrook, Lord Crashington, Olivatronica is here. Welcome. I'm happy you're all here. I hope you're all doing well out there in the internet. Check your head. Yes, I am checking my head. Checking my head and protecting my neck. You know it. Um, so we're going to work on a model kit tonight. Now, to explain what's going on of why I'm calling this a customization, which I should also be clear, we're not going to get to the custom parts for a while. So Gundam Build Divers has a thing. There's a couple things to understand. Gundam Build Divers have the main Gundams are the core Gundam, and then there's armor that like flies in and transforms and goes on over it. It's pretty neat. And the Earthree Gundam is the Earthree armor, or the Earth armor flies in and goes on there. We've done the Uravan. We've done at least one other. Now, the Anima Rise is a special thing from a manga that was part of the Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise, or the Rise, but the show is called Rise, or Re-Rise, so I don't know. The Anima Rise or Anima Rise, they took a bunch of different components from different of these core Gundams and their armor. And you need a few pieces from one. So what happens in Japan a lot for these shows? Ash is here for a moment. So Ash says, just stopping by real quick to wish you a happy stream. Well, thank you very much. I watched Godzilla Singular Point. It's cool, but kind of gets tangled up in its own plot towards the end. Anyway, have fun. I need to try to go back to bed. Yes, indeed. And if you also need to go to bed, you should go to bed. But if you want to hang out, you should hang out. Anyway, so a thing that happens here with model kits, Bandai makes a choice is, if they can reprint certain parts, they will reprint certain parts. Even if they don't need, the parts don't need to be there. Like this polycap kit, right? This is your standard polycap kit. We might not use every single piece on here. It's just easier to be like, this is the one we used for our core Gundams. So we'll just print that out. We made a bunch of these. Like, this one doesn't have a year on it. Often, or I can't see where the year is. Often these polycap kits, oh no, sorry, it does. Hey, Julie, this is a polycap from 2015, which is when this kit came out. But also, they could have used this for 2017 Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise, 2020 Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise kits. They'll reuse them. So you end up in a situation, when we'll go to the overhead for this. Here's the situation we find ourselves in. This came with the Anima Re-Rise. And you can see here, if I put it here, they used some parts here because they needed the orange color, which was unique to that kit. And they had a clear blue piece, which was unique to that kit. And that's it. So I built a kit that had all of these components that weren't used, which is weird and unusual. It's unusual to have this many leftover parts. And I don't know why they chose to make all of these parts clear. Perhaps it's cheaper to do that? I don't know. But they did. So some people were like, oh, well, that looks a lot like the Earthree armor. So you could probably just do that on one of those kits. Any of the core kits, you could use the outside armor with clear parts. So I kept this. I've had this for a while. I can't remember exactly when I built that kit, but it was at least a year ago. I think I did it while I was here, so it's been about a year. But yeah, I kept this because I was like, well, if I ever get the Earthree, I'll just swap them out. So then I get the Earthree kit. And you can see here, it's almost identical. There are some pieces that are not in this kit, or the previous kit. You can say we've got the parts that we used, so we're not going to be minus any parts. There's some extra parts here that weren't in the other one because the other one used a different body. So the core is here. This is for the core parts of the Gundam. And then there's some extra parts here. So there might even be a little bit of blue in this kit. But every part of the blue that you see on the right side of the screen, the lower right, that blue is going to be almost exclusively, it looks like, clear instead. Because we have all these clear parts, and I saved it. So why not use them? So, for the first time in a very long time, the kit I will be building will be, I'm actually going to move this up a little bit higher towards me, sorry, will be customized. It's not a full kit bash, certainly. It's not a revolutionary concept. But I do think it's going to be, like, I should say, this blue is sharp as hell. This blue looks rad. If I didn't have that piece, I would be happy with this blue because I think it looks great. And also, it's blue and gold and red and white. It's main-ass Gundam-ass colors, right? Outside of the shield being a little plain, like, this pops, right? This would look great on this kit. But those clear parts, they're going to look great too. So I'm excited to put that together. And then I saw someone did a custom thing. Would be cool to have transparent blue for this kit. Yes, if these were transparent blue instead of the transparent white that we're going to be using, that would also be rad. And apparently, someone put some glow-in-the-dark paint. Somebody did a kit like this, and they did this mod, and they put glow-in-the-dark paint on the white, so it like looks very cool under black light. We're not going to be doing that. But I am. A thing I didn't do is I didn't retweet the tweet saying, "Hey, the intro is over." Because let's get building. Let's get into it. Let's see what's up. So okay, here we go. We're gonna get into the building. I hope you're all doing well out there in the internet. If you're new, if you're coming in because you watched my stream last night. Because you were here from one of the two raids that we had. We had Silver Streak, and of course we had Abby Russell raided. If you're here from one of those raids, welcome. I hope you enjoy yourself for what is traditionally what I do here, model kit building. I hope we get a few more friends joining us tonight. We're a little, I would say, light on friends in the chat this evening. We got some great people here. Do not get me wrong. We got some fantastic folks watching. But, you know, I like it when there's a lot of people around. It's nice. So, if we can get a few more people, that would be great. If not, that's also totally okay. All right, so we need some polycaps here. We're starting with the chest, the body. That is very typical for this style of kit. And I've built this kind of version of this kit before, so I'm not super worried about it. One of the things about these polycaps is, even though it's 2015, fairly modern, some of these polycaps don't want to just come off with your fingers, and so I will use the snippers, which is totally cool and fine. And yeah, you know, so we're going to work on the core Gundam. You can see that here in this. We're going to build the core Gundam. Then we're going to build all the armor, which is going to use a lot of those clear parts on the like stand that it has in case you wanted to, you know, display it like this. And then we'll take this apart and put it all together to make the cool version of the kit. And I'm excited to do that. I've been saving this, and then I've had the Earthree for a while, just kind of waiting for it to get picked from my $10 patrons, and it recently did, which is cool. All right, so that's 15, and that's 14 and 15, all right there. Okay, so I guess we'll start tonight by talking about EA had a EA Play thing. That's a poor choice of words on my part. EA had one of their EA Play events. It's not a thing; it was an event. So they had EA Play, and I watched it. I watched Giant Bomb do their watch along, which was fun because most of the games that they showed, I'm not really interested in. Just not my thing. And I probably wouldn't. So the first question, which to their credit, Giant Bomb did bring up, and I also agree. Hey, this is their digital event. Why do they have a pre-show for their digital event? What's up with that pre? Why is there a pre-show? Like, hey, I wasn't a super huge Game Informer guy, but I certainly have paid attention to it. I certainly know that Andy McNamara, like who that is, and that it's cool that Andy gets to do a thing. Like, good for him. Good for him to have this thing that he can do. Uh, but it was a little like, what is this? Why is this? Um, so that was my first like, huh? Okay, sure. Um, that's right. No, this is not right. Sorry, I am trying to figure out how they want this to go together. So it goes like this. Okay, I think that's how this goes together. That doesn't look right. Sorry, I'm okay. Oh, and then you turn it. It's always fun when I get like paused on the very first piece of the kit. Like the very first time. I'm just like, wait, what do you want me to do here? What is this supposed to be? What am I supposed to be doing? Okay, it's like that. All right, I get it now. Um, okay, I now get what they were trying to make me do. So that's really good. Anyway, yeah, I don't know why there's a pre-show, and then we get to the main thing. Like they showed some stuff and whatever. Uh, Lost in Random they showed in the pre-show and during the show, and that is a game that looks pretty cool. But I don't think I'll ever play it, and I might not watch anyone stream it. I don't know. It seems totally okay. Um, anyway, our boy Xavier Woods was there, aka introduced as Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed, and then you may have noticed if you watched, every single person referred to him as Austin because Austin Creed, aka Xavier Woods, professional wrestler, understands that there will come a day where he is out there and he is not Xavier Woods anymore. And so he has been working hard. Now, is Creed his last name? No, it's his indie wrestler name, but he understands it's his professional name. He made that decision, and it's a very smart decision to make sure that he has a backup name that everybody knows, and I think that's very smart of him to do. Anyway, so he was out there doing his thing, being a host who was very excited about shit that I don't know if he cares about, but I bought it. Getting excited, doing bits with people in a way that seemed very forced, but fine. I'm usually pretty immune to this, but watching GB mostly just confused by the Apex stuff while I really wanted to watch it tick me off. Last work, I mean, that's a big thing that people always said this. Like, I remember when it would be a common refrain that they would get mad that Brad was asking questions that had been answered during whatever they were watching because someone else had been talking and his attention was drawn. So he's like, wait. He's like, well, they clearly said this. And it's like, so in those instances, I would say, if there's a thing out there that you are very excited about, then you should not watch commentary about it. You should just watch the thing. Because I don't care about any of the things that EA showed. I'll talk about the ones that seemed interesting to me, but I don't care about any of the games. So I didn't just watch the thing. But like, yeah, if you care about Apex and you've been following Apex and you know the Apex stuff, then you should watch the Apex stuff instead of watching people who at best liked Apex at one point. I just think that it does you a disservice, right? It's just going to decrease your enjoyment of stuff that's out there. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, I usually watch the stream of the show before talk over stream, although I don't know that I'll do that for EA thing. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I should have. I was just at work and lazy and knew it would be the only thing had that I would care about. Yeah, there you go, right? So like, that's for me, right? I don't even list a bunch of the stuff that they were talking about because like I don't care about FIFA. If you care about FIFA, there was some good FIFA shit out there. So congratulations. I don't care about racing games at all. But the lady had a cool coat. That lady had a cool Codemasters shirt. Like that was a pretty cool shirt. And Codemasters clearly cares about racing games. So great. I'm glad they get to keep making them because they clearly fucking love them. The tech seems neat. The new tech they're doing with the same technology that they use for the Mandalorian, where it's like CG backgrounds or paint like basically like painterly backgrounds over behind live actors seems pretty cool. I look forward to seeing cutscenes of that game in the future because that does seem neat. Okay, so uh, all right, so we've got our yellow for the chest here, which is not a clear part that we're going to be using. So we're going to use the originals right here. So we'll be doing that. We're only going to use the clear alternatives to the blue. The other parts we will just put in as is. So we'll do that there. Working on our chest here. And A26 is our clear teal chest piece, which is very sharp looking. Looks real good. So we'll put that there. Okay, other stuff from EA Play. Oh yeah, the really weird narrator bit with Austin. He sold. I thought he sold well, but I didn't particularly think it was a good bit of business. But he's a talented performer, and at a certain point, I was like, okay, sure, dude. Let's see what else happened at this event. Um, I should definitely play. My big takeaway from EA Play is that I should try Knockout City more because I did like Knockout City. I received a code for it, um, and I have not played it as a stream, but I have played it in my off time, and I think Knockout City's pretty great. So I might play. I probably, who knows? Maybe I will play more Knockout City. Also, I played the first Dead Space, and I think doing a remake is fine. I think it's been long enough to do a remake. I know some people really preferred Dead Space 2 over the first Dead Space. I know other people that really loved, that did not enjoy Dead Space 3 and what they did to Dead Space with Dead Space 3. And plenty of people that, look, it's an old game now. There are a lot of people that never played a Dead Space that will be looking to play a cool game. So if there's going to be a Dead Space game, I think that sounds pretty great. And I hope that it's good. And I hope that people are fucking psyched about a Dead Space game because good on them. Have a great Dead Space. That would be nice for people. That's my big important takeaway from this. Oh, that's nice. But yeah, they showed a bunch of games that I was just like, okay, okay, okay. That was kind of my takeaway from this particular event. Uh, so I don't know. Maybe I could play more than 10 minutes of Dead Space. Maybe they'll make that game good this time. Who knows? Some people really love Dead Space. I liked Dead Space. I can't tell you if I finished it. I know I did not buy any of the other Dead Spaces, but I can't tell you if I finished the first Dead Space or not. I definitely played it, and I had a good time for some of it. It's a scary game that I don't love, because I don't really love scary games. But, it's good for them. I'm glad they're making it. Um, and that's EA Play, basically, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, there was other things, that Battlefield thing where there's a Battlefield mode or a new Battlefield where it's all the quote unquote it's a lot of the battlefields, and then like Austin Creed was naming battlefield maps, and I was just like, okay, cool, dude. I mean, great. I had no idea what was being said or people were being excited about because that's not a franchise that I have spent any time participating in. So I was just like, okay, I hope good. I hope it's good. That's kind of my big brain takeaway is, hey, I hope you get Some good battlefields. You get some good battlefielding in there. That sounds great for you. So yeah, enjoy your battlefields, folks. Um, okay, so I'm glad I never said that I was going to stop talking about anime too. I know that, but because like there's more. I think this will probably be the end of it. I don't think we're going to hear from them again unless people notice that they have started a new crowdfunding campaign on a different website, which is totally possible that they may choose to do that. But if you missed me ranting about this, ranting and raving about this a couple times, I'll give you the short version of this thing. So AnimeTube is it is not a website to watch illegal anime, even though it sounds like one. It is also not the name of a digital anime convention, although it also sounds like one. It is not a place to purchase wall scrolls, although it sounds like one. The idea of AnimeTube is, what if there was an app that was good for watching anime, whereas the Funimation app isn't good and the Crunchyroll app isn't good? But what if there was a good one, like a focused on mobile good one, and it had like chat rooms and well, they're going to get, and it's a small company and they're going to license all this anime. They're going to get anime licenses that already have US somehow, but it's not going to be hard because, they're streaming only. They're not going to worry about physical media. They're just doing streaming rights. They're not doing, and so eventually they'll have the money to like get dubs done too, for our dub fans. But they're primarily going to be about the subs. And it sounded like bullshit, and it was either incredibly naive or a money making scam, trying to use the idea that there are people who legitimately don't like the big companies. Dirty wants me to hit that bell. I will hit that bell. Here's this bell. Um, there's that bell. Good evening, Dirty. So AnimeTube was like, hey, we're going to raise all this money. People are lying when they say that it's expensive to license things. We're going to do this, this, and this. There was a bunch of red flags, a bunch of this seems impossible. They originally had listed a bunch of things they were looking at, and then clarified, well, we're not actually looking at that. These are just like wish list stuff. But the industry, many industry folks were like, hey, this seems like fucking bullshit. Like, what are you talking about? Who are you? This is not enough money. I'm sure licensing will get easier after all this stuff. Yes, indeed. So they're like, okay, like your time frame doesn't make sense. The money you're raising doesn't make sense. You say you don't have, and like you're just raising for funds. You've done an app before that was taken off stores, so because it was an app that you could like search for anime and it would show you videos, but some of the videos it would show you would be unlicensed stuff, because of course it did, because one of their things was YouTube, and so eventually it just got taken down, and they're like, well, that app was just a test. This is the thing we really want to do, which is revolutionize the anime industry somehow. Um, so it got suspended by Kickstarter, which it should have. And they, had made a statement. They made a release, the anime YouTube people. They have a Facebook page. They had a Twitter and deleted it. And so, but they still have their Facebook page because they can control what people say on their Facebook page. They can control parts of the narrative. So they put out a statement, and it is, as you would imagine, hilarious, because they were like, we're going to get this resolved. We're definitely going to get this resolved, which is not likely, because Kickstarter does not go back on their suspensions. Generally, their suspensions are the end of it. Now, there have been ones that were like, oh, this was an error, but that is very unlikely. Usually, they pause something if they need to get. They'll pause you being able to back a project if they need that person, like the people, to fix something quick. That's not the same thing as suspending. So they're like, well, we're going to get this cleared up. We're going to reach out. So they put out an update. This is an update to their Kickstarter page in updates. This was posted on Tuesday, and I will read some quotes from it. Basically, they said, we are trying to work with Kickstarter, but Kickstarter will not give us a valid reason for why this happened. I mean, come on. Because they were saying in their Discord, which is either closed or they restricted who has access to it. But a lot of people who backed the project got booted off of the Kickstarter or the Discord. So who knows exactly what's going on with that. We're going to panel line these. These will be our beam saber, basically right here. So we got our beam sabers, but we're going to panel line it as I talk about this bad Kickstarter. So they had been saying, kind of privately or somewhat privately, hey, we think that the reason why this happened is people were reporting our project as if, if it was a scam or something, and it was, it was like wrong, it was wrong. So we're going to get this cleared up. And they didn't. So their new thing is Kickstarter won't give them a valid reason and won't restate it. So they're going to move on. They're definitely not going to use Kickstarter again. They blamed, quote unquote, some individuals that undermined and smeared our project for reasons unknown, making false accusations and claims. They also used industry professionals in quotation marks. Basically, they got bad press and they were like, well, this bad press is like malicious and the reason why this happened. And they don't know why people would do this. We do not think any... This quote is unbelievable, so I had to copy and paste it because it's incredible. We do not think any Kickstarter campaign has ever received so much negativity and animosity before. It's reasons unknown, like they didn't read any of the criticism. Yeah, they're just like, oh, that's weird. And false accusations, which basically I think is people just go saying, hey, this is a scam. But, I mean, so obviously it's a lie. But if it isn't a lie, then it's just the incredible naivete to say we don't think any Kickstarter campaign has ever received so much negativity and animosity before. And it's like, well, then you don't know anything about Kickstarter. It's like, hey, guess what? There was a lot more negativity and animosity associated with many Kickstarters. Not like, and hey, remember less than a year ago where the head of one of the departments at Kickstarter left because he had ran a Kickstarter that included a lot of people doing work for it, and the people doing work for it didn't know everyone else that was doing work for it, and it included someone that was persona non grata in many scenes within the tabletop community. And so people were like, hey, this sucks. And the head of Kickstarter had to the head of Kickstarter Games and Outreach had to be like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Like that made way more press than your thing, which I'll be honest, this anime tube didn't break out of anime Twitter, really. You weren't seeing it on wrap-ups of other things. You might have seen it in some fundraisings. So a little bit in the fundraising community, the people that kind of track these big fundraisers. Because there are people that look at suspensions and kind of keep an eye on projects and where they end up. So they had a little bit of that because it is a funny story, because it is just a blatant money grab. And the people that really love crowdfunding generally don't like this kind of project, because this might be the last time someone does a crowdfunding, because for a number of reasons, including if you really believe in this, if you're one of those people that backed this project and you really believe in it, then you're sour because it didn't happen. And it's not because the people were never going to do the thing, because they were never going to do the thing. You're sour because it didn't get funded, or it didn't get properly funded, because you want to give them your money and you don't get to give them your money. So you're like, well, the only thing I do is be mad at Kickstarter. and I'll never do it because people were like, "Oh, I'll never do another Kickstarter again." And it's like, okay, well, that's a shame. That's why some people don't like this shit. So they basically they said they're looking for investors and or other crowdfunding platforms. They're going to continue to do the work, and they're already continuing their plans to meet with Japanese industry, like anime productions. Which, what is that? Why would that happen? And if you were going to meet in person, didn't you need the money to do that? Wasn't the Kickstarter part of the Kickstarter was you going to Japan to have these meetings? Where's the money for that? What happened to that money? Jam just subscribed with Twitch Prime. That's 43 months. Thank you so much, Jam, for that. Let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the moat in the chat, and thank Jam for being such a consistent supporter and also using Twitch Prime, which is cool. And you can do, if you have that, you could do that. So thank you very much for renewing, Jam. But anyway, it's I mean, it still continues to be very funny. AnimeTube. Basically, they also again go to say they're even though they said the reasons unknown that people were fucking with them, they then say we know this happened because there are quote unquote industry professionals that don't want to see us succeed and they don't want to see competition, because they this is my words, not theirs. They're painting themselves once again as the underdogs trying to fight the system because that gets people's engines moving. Because, you could think that Evolution, the owners of Crunchyroll, are a big company. But, then they're probably going to get sold to Sony, which is a huge company. And you're also like, oh, we're taking on, Netflix and Amazon and all that. Like, yeah, people want to get behind an underdog. Big anime is coming to take them down. Indeed, right? Because, like, people who are like, like the guy at Right Stuff who started licensing anime, like, that guy is big anime, quote unquote. That's not big anime. That's just a guy who's like, hey, you listed stuff that I have exclusives to. What are you talking about? Like, y'all listed B stars. You're not getting B stars. What are you talking about? Like, there were people that were like, hey, don't give this group your money. They're not going to do anything with it. They're not going to do the thing you want them to do. And, that list, I should also say, the big list that originally was on it, that when I saw the project, that list had already been taken down, so I missed that list. That list was apparently just originally a Google Doc based on a subforum or a channel in their Discord where people were just saying anime they wish would be there, and they would go, okay. So that list was just like, it wasn't like here's what we're pursuing. It was here's what somebody at some point said in our Discord as anime they wanted to see on the thing, and it was just like, oh, that's just exploitative. Like you're just taking people's money and going for a ride. So look. I imagine this is the last time I'm going to talk about this because I don't think they're going to continue to make statements. I should also say this statement that is their update on their Kickstarter is not currently on their Facebook page, which is still up on Facebook. They took their Twitter down. But their Facebook page has their press release, which was the last thing they had said. And this update is just basically like, hey, don't come here looking just for more updates because we're not going to be able to keep giving you updates on this, which is like at least reasonable. They're not lying saying that they're going to resolve things with Kickstarter because they were never going to resolve things with Kickstarter. So they gave up on that at least, which I can appreciate. But I mean, it's just wishful thinking. If you look at it, it's like, as I said, that Kickstarter had so many things. Like there was nothing in the money breakdown for Kickstarter fees or the backer kit or whatever they were using to fill or to buy the merchandise for their rewards or the people that fulfilled that. There wasn't anything about the credit card processing fees which are in there. There was just so many things that were like not listed. It was just like $50,000 for the app. more of it goes to other things. And it was like, oh, no, 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 no. Like the money they spent on advertising, on the money they spent on the group that made the commercial for it. Uh, they did, that like shouldn't the Kickstarter pay for that? What money is that from? Where's that money go? There was just so many things where you're like, I mean, this is just a big scam, and it's a shame that people are willingly contributing. The fact that it had over $100,000 backed, and also, like I said, this was not on major sites covering this, the major anime sites. This is just my particular belief that I do not believe that 1/5 of the money they raised, which was $25,000, that was from the $2,150 per person thing. I don't believe 10 people gave them over $2,000 each. Like, I just don't believe that to be true. Like, there's no way that is. There's definitely some fraud being committed, specifically in that case, and then generally throughout the whole thing, clearly. All right, we're going to do some panel lining here. We're using the gray on our white. We've already done the chest. We're moving on the head. This kit is not going to take too long to build. It is a pretty simple kit. I mean, the core is small. For a high grade, it's small because you put the armor on over it. So the cores themselves are always pretty tiny. And we got to put stickers on the front and back here, but I'm just doing some panel lining in case the stickers don't cover everything. Probably donations from themselves or friends or family. Yeah, most likely. I mean, that's generally what happens. And that's also how a lot of Kickstarter projects get suspended, is shady activity. Because in most cases, those things are just to pad the numbers or get you to a certain percentage so that other people will consider donating. But in some instances, it's money laundering. And Kickstarter very much does not want to be a part of money laundering in any way, shape, or form. They want to definitely avoid money laundering as much as they can. So, which, they won't say publicly, but we know. Nobody wants to be a part of that, because then the feds get involved, and that's not great for anybody, especially a company that has many parts of negative press for not being for very much trying to quell unionization, including firing people who are outspoken about unions. Finding good excuses to, or in other cases, bad excuses to fire people. Great job, everybody. Great job. So yeah, I also want to make it clear that I'm not here to be like, Kickstarter didn't do anything wrong. Because also, hey, I hope that the person in the technology category at Kickstarter, who's in the technology outreach, I hope they had a conversation about why that project got made a Projects We Love, which is not the biggest seal of approval that people... It's not the big seal of approval people think it is, because there's a lot of projects they love, but in some of the smaller categories, it does stand out and can get you more attention. Because I'll say this, I was a Project We Love twice. I have done 2 Kickstarters. They were small, little Kickstarters. They were both Projects We Love because I knew people that worked at Kickstarter. Did I ask them to do that? No. But I did tell them, hey, I did this. If you want to give me feedback, please give me feedback. I'm putting it up on this date. And then my project launched, and it launched both times as Projects We Love. And that is just nepotism, because my projects weren't good. They were just fundraisers to take me to an event where the big thing that I was trying to do was go to an event and then film myself at the event. It was PAX, which is why I eventually, when I needed help, I went to GoFundMe, because that was smarter for me to do than other things, than alternatives. But, originally it was just like, oh, I've done 2 Kickstarters, can't do any more of those. So... But also, part of my Kickstarter included the cost that the amount it cost me to have a friend of mine film my Kickstarter plug video, because I instead of just doing it myself, I paid someone to do it and edit it and do a good job, and then I used the money part of the money that people gave me to pay him back, which was included in the conversation um, of the cost of it. All right, so we got the head done, so we can put the head on here. As I said, this core fighter is going to be basically just what it looks like as is in the photo. You'll see some of it in there, but the customization is going to come later. But yeah, we got a chest done and we got a head on there, which is fun. And now we're going to move on to the waist. We haven't done the arms and the legs yet, but we're going to build the waist on this kit because that's what it tells us to do. Anyway, Anime Tube was a shame that it got funded, that it got overfunded, and it raised over $100,000. Like, they don't get that money, and that's cool. They continue to can play the victim. Oh yeah, there was this thing about like the toxic behavior of social media, and it's like, I mean, look, yes, hey, Mr. Hado, welcome. Obviously, social media sucks. Like, I'm not here to defend social media just because some people who are running a scam got called out for running that scam. But like, also, don't pretend like you didn't think this was going to happen. Like, you didn't think people were going to be like, hey, wait, what? Because, like, like, all of this is calculated. Now, maybe you thought you would fly under the radar. Okay, Anime Tube is dead, but what about Anime Tube with the number 2 instead of the T? Yes. So that's the thing, right? So they could still get investors because they can just say, like, the sob story of, look, it's also a shame, but if they want to go into, well, we got canceled for no reason, blah, 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 the libs and all that, if they want to go that complete bullshit route, they certainly could try to go that route and try to garner sympathy with some people that have money. That are just like, yeah, well, okay, sure. So I'm sure they could try to get money from somewhere. I mean, look, the idea that they start their, a crowdfunding campaign on a different website is certainly a thing they could do. It's going to be hard because they have now canceled themselves a Kickstarter to rework it and then put up a Kickstarter that then got suspended. So it's like GameFace LLC and Anime Tube are a little burned right now for some people. So it'll definitely not be easy for them to bounce back, but they could. They certainly could bounce back. There's no rule against it. Like, people still want to, there's plenty of people who are mad at Kickstarter instead of being mad at themselves. So did they say they're tried crowdfunding elsewhere at this point or no? So, Mr. Hadel, yes, the end of their update, because there's been an update on their Kickstarter page, and the updates, they're looking for investors or to possibly towards other crowdfunding platforms. They don't, like, they're basically like, we won't use Kickstarter again. And it's like, yeah. I mean, that's the only, like, legitimate thing I think they've said that I'm like, yeah, you definitely won't. I know that. It might not be for the reasons why you're projecting, but, like, yeah, you won't. Naturally, I can't see that working out for them. I mean, here's the thing. People, like, they raise $100,000, and I myself personally believe, as I said a couple times in here, I myself personally believe that some of that was fraudulent. I certainly can't prove any of it, but it definitely felt fraudulent. But there still had plenty of money from people who were like, yeah, all right, sure, whatever. Here's $30. I hope you do it. So, like, they could theoretically in the future raise those funds again. Okay, so we got A3, which is an A15. These are parts we are going to use, right? Because it's just, if it's blue, then we're going to replace it with clear. So, although there's a couple blue pieces that we won't be able to do that with, but everything else we're going to replace it with clear parts. So the red here is not part of that, and the gold here is not part of that. So we will do that with a regular. Indiegogo with we get all the money no matter what if we make our goal option on. Yes. Even if we make, yes. So the Indiegogo, yeah, you can just do Indiegogo, which is just like, we get money even if we don't hit our goal. We just get the money. We get whatever we raised. You just turn that on, and then you put a short date of trying to raise the money. And you hope that you didn't alienate a bunch of people that by trying to slash and burn your Discord, that people that who would because people were backing for $1, getting access to the Discord, and then canceling their pledge or whatever the minimum was to get in, so they could just be part of the Discord. So they probably won't do that again, but they could theoretically come back from this. Also, the good thing is most of the people involved just were using pseudonyms or their first name. So those people can just act like they weren't working on anything. Oh no, I was working on an app, but it wasn't that app. Don't worry about that. So good for them. But yikes. It's just a big yikes. It's a big yikes project. I'm gonna drink a little water. I need a little water. Before we take our pause for the cause, if you didn't watch the stream last night, that's okay. If you didn't, okay. Oh, so now we're gonna move on to the arms, and the arms. Most of the arms you can just do all at the same time, which is cool. So we'll just do the arms there. But why don't we just pop that together? Oh, there's an in between, right? There's a part that goes on here that I didn't put on yet. I missed a step. Here we go. So if you missed the stream last night, we checked out Power Wash Simulator again. It continues to be delightful. I highly recommend it. I think it's very chill, and I like it a lot. We also checked out Mech Mechanic Simulator, and I played a bit more of Mech Mechanic Simulator today, so I played a little more of it. And it continues to be bafflingly strange, but also I don't want to say that it's more enjoyable at once you know how to use it and get in the rhythm of it, and you're like, once you keep working with it, it becomes more fun. But the quirks and the terrible choices embedded in and how you play the game, you get used to them. I would say if it's on sale below $10, pick it up because it looks cool. The mechs are cool. Washing the mechs is fun. I wish it was more detailed, but it's not. It's not detailed at all. That was fun. Like there's parts of it that I think are enjoyable. It's just the actual mechanic part of it I don't think is good. Like I talked about this on stream last night, but so you have to tap on things and pull things, which is not intuitive, to break things down, and you break things down, and then you have the option to then you got to put them back. So it's when you go to put a piece back, they give you the option, do you want to use this one, or do you want to buy a replacement part? Or do you want to, in between, go to a bench, eventually go to a workbench and repair the part, because that's cheaper. Or you can then also sell the parts that from other kits that you have saved that you took off. And that is weird. The part where you can't buy anything until you're about to put the part back in is very strange and I think bad. I very much wanted to like Mech Mechanic Simulator. It's I kind of said like I want a simulator with a lowercase s and this is a capital S. It's like SIM you later, and I want a simulator. I wanted a more fun mech game, and this is not that. Like people were talking about like the what ifs, so like what if they could get like licensed stuff, and what if they could get like more inventive things, and I was just like I don't know. I feel like I don't want to say they bought a bunch of mech assets because I can't tell you they did that, but it really feels like they have this. They have like a good amount of mechs, and then they have like different problems for those mechs, and then you just have to take things apart, and there's that weird mini game thing where you have to figure out what's wrong with the thing by scanning, and it's like a weird mini game, like a hacking mini game, and I don't like that, and I don't know why that's in there other than slow you down so you don't run out of content. Like the diagnostic tool shouldn't be like a mini game. It's weird. I don't know. There's a lot about it that I'm just like, I don't like what this is, which is a shame. And I said, I got it on sale. I bought it on sale. Also, if you want to check it out, there's an extended demo on Steam. So if you want to check out the extended demo for Mech Mechanic Simulator, if my demo of it wasn't enough for you, you can do that. Also, you can turn the Android off, the sassy Android. You can turn the audio from him off. He still walks around, but he doesn't like sass you while you're doing things. And that's a quality of life feature. Now, I should also point out that Mech Mechanic Simulator is missing a very important accessibility option, which is, as far as I can tell, and maybe I missed it. It's possible. So the parts that you can remove are green. The parts you can't remove yet, but you will eventually be able to remove, are red. And then the part that you need to replace is purple. And there's no way to change those colors. And that's very bad for colorblind folks. Colorblind folks definitely will not enjoy this game because there is seemingly no alternative to that color scheme of like, well, it's neon green when you can remove it, and it's red when you can't, and it's like this kind of like violety purple of the part that is broken. And I'm like, that's not good. You need to like have options for people. So that sucks. Like, you may be able to tell those two colors apart, that they are different from one another, but it's still going to be very difficult to like figure out what the fuck is going on. And so that's a big shame. That's a big accessibility issue that I feel like they need to work on their game that's done. But it very much tells you that no one on the team, because I don't know if it was a team or somebody, one person or somebody who did some, had contractors or whatever. But it's very clear that nobody who touched that game before release is colorblind, because they would have said, hey, this sucks. This part of the game sucks. What if you fix this part of the game? So that's a shame. Power Wash Simulator continues to be great. My next stream, which is next Wednesday, my next bonus stream, not my next stream itself, I'll be streaming Saturday and Monday. Before that, doing model kit stuff. You know how that goes. My next my next non-build stream, my bonus stream on Wednesday, I'm going to do a new randomizer. I believe I'm going to do Fire Red, because I like Leaf Green, but I think I'm going to do Fire Red, which I have never played on stream before. I have played in my regular life, but I have not played it on stream, and it will be a randomizer. What ended up happening is my save got corrupted for my Pokemon Emerald, and the backup I had was very old, so we are retiring that Pokemon Emerald run, because I was thinking about restarting it there, but I'm like, I'm not going to restart the very beginning of Emerald. I played Emerald a lot. I'm going to play Fire Red. I think that'll be fun to do. So I'm going to play Fire Red random. If you haven't seen a randomizer stream from me, it is not a Nuzlocke, because Nuzlocks bum me out. Because if a fluke takes out a Pokemon that I like, that's a bummer. But the random is very strange. You get some weird combinations of Pokemon. I think is very neat. So I'll be doing that. And then also, you with the chat get to help me name the Pokemon that I catch, which is very fun. So then I have like, shouldn't have caught that missing go. Yes, right, Lastbrook? I mean, look, did I curse myself? I don't think I cursed myself. I might have cursed myself. It's possible I cursed myself. But I don't know. I am looking forward to trying a new game there. It's fun. And yeah, you get to help me name the Pokemon. So then, like, weeks later, when I play it again, people are like, why is that Pokemon named John Candy? And I have to be like, I don't remember. I think someone just wanted to name it John Candy, so we named it John Candy. Or like, why is Hariyama named Twitch Sucks? And I was like, oh, I think that was the week where they were like, that was the week that Twitch was trying out the feature where they forced ads on people that had like didn't click on play an ad. They were just, for partners, they were just running ads because they wanted to. And so it'd be somebody all of a sudden like some of their audience were going to watch an ad and they didn't have control over that, which was fun. We'll have to name the worst Pokemon anime tube. Yeah, just if I have to capture something that I'm like, I am not happy about capturing this, but I need type coverage or something, we'll name it anime tube. I mean, look, there's definitely some anime Pokemon in there, and maybe there's maybe there's a snake in there that we want to name anime tube. We'll figure that out. But that's next Wednesday. We got time for that before that. But like, I don't know. I'm excited about it because I really enjoy randomizers. I really like Pokemon randomizers in particular. I think are very fun because it's just like you never know what you're going to get, especially games you played a lot of. It's just kind of fun to be like, oh yeah, well now I got this Pokemon on my party. That's weird. It's weird that I've got this thing at this stage. I have a legendary. I'm starting with a legendary. That's weird. This is very, very odd. But we'll do that next Wednesday. But I got model kits to build, and at some point this month, I'm gonna get that Calamity. I guess. Hopefully, I haven't checked my updates in a while, but hopefully that Calamity full mechanic is coming at some point soon because it's July and it's supposed to be shipping this month. So hopefully I will get that. What are the other? Do I have anything else coming out this July? No. In August I've got the Crossbone X 2 Verka, the cool, very cool pirate, the alternate version, and the Millennium Puzzle comes out in August, and hopefully, because I pre-ordered that from USA Gundam Store, and hopefully that won't be delayed because I really want that. I really hope USA Gundam Store does another pre-order discount weekend soon. I still need to order the Millennium Puzzle, as last week just said. There you go. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't get that tall geese, the feathered tall geese from the manga. I didn't get the pre-ordering for that because I did not get paid from a job that I worked. Because freelance is fun, y'all. Freelance is very fun. Because like contract work, it's real great. Because like sometimes people just don't pay you on time because whatever, it just won't. And so you're like, oh, okay. I guess I'll just wait to pay my bills, and then you pay your bills, and then you're like, okay, now I have some extra spending money to pre-order model kits for my other job, which is this. But I mean, also the pre-orders for that, like it crashed the site, the Premium Bandai site, and then like went out in like 15 minutes or 5 minutes or some nonsense. So I wasn't gonna get that unless I had the money and I was logged in right on the dot. I probably wasn't getting to get that cool kit, which is a shame because that's going to be real expensive in third-party sites and stuff. But hopefully they'll open up more pre-orders for that into the future or do another run of it because it's fucking rad looking. So who knows? Anyway, we're going to take a pause for the cause, folks. Most people didn't. Yeah, most people didn't get it. So I'm hoping that I can feature. What's the pause for the cause? You might be asking because you don't know what the deal is here. So pause for the cause is an opportunity for me to talk to you about ways you can support the channel. You are under no obligation to support me in any way other than watching, hanging out, chatting if you'd like, giving me a follow if you haven't yet. But there are some other ways you can do that, including Not Slide, who just gave me a follow. Thank you very much, Not Slide. Appreciate that. But yeah, this will be a few minutes of me just talking about ways you can support the channel. If you want, you're under no obligation to do so, as I said. But if you like what you see, you want to give me some support, I would welcome it. If you're currently a subscriber, let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, and the site, the emote in the chat. Let the people know that is a reward for becoming a subscriber. As you get cool emotes, you don't see ads before the stream starts. When you click in, you don't have to watch pre-roll ads. But you also get some cool emotes. Some fun emotes that got made by Xandra, who absolutely rules. She made fantastic emotes for me. In the Tier 2, you get the Scythe emote, which is chill. And you also get the Lego Me, and you get the Bear Cave. Eventually, I will do a fourth emote. I'm going to do a fourth emote at some point. I'm thinking I'm going to add in another free emote. Or I'm going to make the Scythe emote the free one, and make a new Tier 2 emote. I just haven't done that yet because money would be necessary to get that done. So when I have money, make it. Um, and then I have to get somebody to do it and blah, blah, blah. And I would love to be Xandra. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, you could use your Prime gaming token. You have Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, like Jam uses the Prime token. You could do that if you wanted to. You use Cash Money. You could gift a sub. We've had some gifts this month. Always appreciate the gift subs. You could gift a sub to somebody. If you've been gifted a sub, you could convert that to a regular subscription. They won't charge you till your gift has expired for your month. So that's another way to support what I do here. I also have a Patreon. Patreon.com/PatBear. There are different tiers. If $5 through Twitch is not something you're interested in, maybe 1, 3, 5, 10 on Patreon is something you're more interested in. I don't know. You got options. You could do it there. And there are rewards for each tier. Obviously, joining my YouTube is free. You can join my YouTube at youtube.com/PatBear for dang free. But if you wanted to join, subscribing is free. Joining costs $2 because I have memberships there. And for $2 a month, you get a member. You get a video one day early on there. So every Tuesday, you get my Wednesday video. That's a small little thing, but it's something. As a thank you for people that want to support me there. Let's see. So YouTube. Okay. Direct donations. So I have to constantly buy model kits to continue this stream. It's the choice I made, but I do need to keep buying them. So you could do a one-time donation. If monthly doesn't work for you, you could give me a donation to Coffee or Streamlabs or PayPal. And it'll go into buying model kits. It goes into a fund. I buy model kits with that money. Everything I make through Twitch, through Patreon, through YouTube, through direct donations goes to a fund for me buying model kits. Now, this kit came from my wish list. Or didn't come from my wish list, I'm sorry. This didn't come from my wish list. This came from my backlog, and somebody picked it up on my wish, or picked it from the $10 patrons, is what I was trying to say. It won the poll for my patrons and became the thing that I was building next. Now, I have some other stuff in my backlog. If you want to jump that backlog and see something you want built next, you could buy it on my Amazon wish list. I refurbished this refilled it, not refurbished. I'm saying weird things, sorry. I refilled the wish list with some new stuff. I put a bunch of new inexpensive Lego in here. Some stuff that I thought was cool. There's the Kai's Mech Jet Ninja Car. It's a mech that turns into a car in the Ninjago line. That's $15 right now, and I was like, that seems neat. I'll build that. There's a monster truck. I want to build a monster truck, and I appreciate this. So the description of the Technic Monster Jam Max D model building kit for boys and girls who love monster truck toys. Hey, would I prefer kids instead of the gendered? Yes, but I also do appreciate that if you are going to put in genders and not just say kids, the non-gender term, I like inclusion of boys and girls who love monster trucks would love this Lego set. That's just a nice description. I don't know. I like that. Again, would be better if it just said kids or children, but still. But I got a bunch of stuff in here. Like I said, I added a bunch of Lego. There's some model kits, inexpensive model kits, expensive model kits, prices that are unreasonable. Prices are actually pretty good for a model kit. Pretty good there. And if you buy something off the wish list, I'll build it. I'll shoot a video all about the thing you bought, and then I will jump the queue and I'll build it next. That is a thing that I promise. And alternative to Amazon, because it's nice to have that, is USA Gundam Store, which we were just talking about. You can go to USA Gundam Store, and you can buy a gift card. They send you an email with a code in it. You send that to me via DM on Twitter, because my DMs are open, or send it here as a whisper on Twitch, and I will take a look at those, and I will use those and buy something. And yeah, if you want to support me for free, you don't want to spend any money. I get it. Money's tough. Always is. You can go over here to my Discord and hang out in my Discord. That's free. I post build photos. People post stuff they're working on. People promote the things they're in. It's a fun little community here, so you can join that fun community, which will be nice. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, I gotta plug some video stuff that I've done. So the latest episode of Pat Bear's Anime Club, which is my video series where I talk about anime, was my PAX panel. So it is the previous PAX panel from PAX East Online, as myself and Heather Derry and Ian Horner talking about anime, recommending anime. It's an hour. I think it was a really good episode. And then also my new series that I'm doing, and so there'll be a new episode every single Wednesday, is called Best of Build With Baer. And it is a best of series. The short little clips, moments you may have missed. If you ever see something that you think is great in a stream, please clip it. Hit that clip button. I would really appreciate that, because it's easier to find the clip and download that than it is to dig through and kind of scrub through a 2-hour stream looking for the thing that I remember was pretty good. So you could do that. And if you want to do that, I would appreciate it. And yeah, that is a thing you could do. This one, they're all going to have closed captions embedded in them. Subtitles, because I think that's helpful. And this one was about a character in an anime that is clearly, definitely not Tuxedo Mask, but definitely was just an homage to Tuxedo Mask that I found very funny. So you can check out that clip there if you wanted to. And again, I think I do an okay job with that first one. I think it's pretty funny. But these will be short little clips, just moments from my streams that I think are good. And like I said, if you see any moments that you think were great, please let me know so that I can flip them. I'm going to drink a little water. I went out of focus when I moved. All right. Now it's part of the stream where I'm going to talk a lot about anime. And then we're also going to continue to build this model kit. Oh, wow. The Daily Show is 25 years old. That makes me feel old as a 41-year-old that The Daily Show is 25. Damn. Okay. That's a long time. Not Slide says, when's wrestling talk? So we'll do wrestling talk at the end of the stream. Because we got anime talk first. We got to do anime talk. That is a component of every stream. I watch anime for my own enjoyment, and then also so I can talk about it during the streams. But after that, we will talk wrestling because, we got to speculate on some stuff. We've got to put our speculation hats on and wonder if any of the recent goss is true or not, and what's going on. Yeah, got a bunch of news. There's news. So we'll talk about it at the end because there is news. Okay, so I got 4 anime shows to talk to you about. That time I got reincarnated as a slime is in a weird spot where a bunch of action happened and it became a very action-heavy anime. Towards the end of the first half of season 2. We're now in the second half of season 2. So it got like real-ass anime. Ooh, I forgot to put those parts in. So I got to pop in some parts here. I got to pop these apart and put in... basically, the hands will not fit on this kit right now because I missed a step. So I got to put a step in here. That is number 33. So I'll backtrack a little bit. Anyway. So it's in a weird spot now where they're like building into the next thing, and there's a lot of like conversations. Slime got weird pacing like that. It's like choose battle, and then things cool super hard, and it slips into slice of life. Yeah, so like we're in the planning stages, and the planning stage stuff is fun, but like here's the thing: I don't really care what Fuse, the guildmaster for the Kingdom of Bloomund, I don't really care what his motivations are. I do like the fact that he keeps freaking out, and then he doesn't react to the fact that Ramirez is a demon lord, because he's just like, well, I just met Veldora. the dragon who's in a human form. So like, I'm kind of weird. I'm kind of already surprised out. Like I like moments like that. I think moments like that are fun because it does paint the picture of like this is bizarre. But yeah, I kind of don't need to know like why the Archduke is like. We know the Archduke wants diplomatic relations and like whatever. Like I don't kind of need that. Um, but there's a lot of conversation. Also, we still don't know after this whole episode. We know, but they don't know why the former Queen of the Spirits is there to warn them. We know that the meeting of the Demon Lords is taking place. It's going to take place, and she's basically convinced that's going to spell doom for Rimuru. Which, like, we don't know that it won't, but we do know it won't because, like, it's going to work out because Rimuru's real strong and like not going to put up with any shit. And also, we know that, like, well, we don't know this, but like, Carrion probably isn't dead, and Milliam probably isn't being manipulated in a way that we think. And I know that Faye isn't exactly being honest, but I know that because I've read the manga, because the anime fucking didn't introduce her until she attacked uh, Carrion. And it's like, hey, anime, you skipped like a character. You really skipped over a character, which is just strange. There's a lot that I'm like, this is weird. They're doing some weird shit. But anyway, the show is still enjoyable, even if it is like kind of all over the place and kind of slow. Let's see. But the basic plan is, hey, here's the plan. They're going to announce that Rimuru, you know, he became a demon lord, and well, this one country showed up and they waged war with them, and they were defending themselves. And then during the bloody battle, Veldora was like released, and that's a nightmare. But thank God, Yom, the champion from Falmouth, like, and Rimuru put their differences aside and worked together to convince Veldora to continue to be the guardian of the forest, and it worked out great. Isn't that cool? And then they're going to try to impose a some sort of they're basically going to run a coup and destabilize the government, and then basically make Yom a puppet ruler, which is just like big plans, but okay, sure. And they have a non-aggression pact still with the Animal Kingdom, which is good. Everything's working out. And then, you know, Clayman's got his whole thing. They're gonna storm the Capitol. Well, they're gonna send Yom back, and then also the king is gonna like they're gonna convince the king to like give up the throne, which is gonna put that country into upheaval, and then somehow Yom is gonna take over that country. But also they're gonna attack whoever works for Clayman, and they're gonna like wage war on that, and then possibly protect the Animal Kingdom, I guess. Uh, and then we know from Slime Diaries, which is a weird place to introduce them. There's briefly a moment in the Slime Diaries where we see the people who worship Milliam, the like monks who worship Milliam. So like she has a nation, which makes sense that she does, but we don't really see that in the regular anime. But we now know that from the Slime Diaries, which is a weird way to find out. But anyway, yeah, it's a whole fucking like. There's a lot going on in the show. Um, like I'm wondering how much they're gonna cut out based on the manga. Um, like, are we gonna get a long conversation about the demon that got summoned that works for Remoris, but like eventually wants to also work for Rimuru? Like, are we gonna have a thing with him? Like, is he gonna have his moment in the sun like he does in the manga, which is so weird? Like, I don't know. Also, that manga is monthly. I'm really afraid they're going to catch up by the end of the season. Uh, and then they're just going to have to go off the light novels, which I mean, I don't have a good understanding of all of the parts of the light novels, but like, feel like this show has kind of gone off the rails a bit. Not really. I mean, it's just like there's like things that just were said that were explained in the manga and then just skipped for the anime. Like the fact that Rimuru can summon demons is just a thing he can do, and it's explained in the manga, but not in the anime. He can just summon, like towards the end of season 1, he just summons a demon, and then he does in season 2. He summons demons again, and you're like, when did he learn that? Well, he learned it because he fought a summoner and watched that summoner summon things and learned how to do it by watching that. So, he learned it. And it's fine that he learned it, but it's weird that we don't see that in the show. Whatever. I'm going to tell you about, honest to God, like the most mediocre isekai. Like, we live in a golden age of anime with incredible shows, but also shit gets licensed that you would never see fan subbers touch. Like, there's no way that a well-known, well-distributed fan subber would do Drugstore in Another World, The Slow Life of a Cheat Pharmacist. You know how that would get fan subbed? Somebody would buy the VHS tapes back in the day of an obscure show and basically buy the tapes and pay a fan sub group to do the work because they wanted to see that show, but they would have to do like the investment for it. Like that's how you get weird shit in that era. But now they make deals and they just like, yeah, maybe a couple people will like. I have no idea who's watching Drugstore in Another World other than me. An isekai that cares so little about the premise of it being an isekai that they don't explain how this dude got isekai'd. They legit don't tell you. He just is. There's just a dude. What's his name? Reggie. Reggie just got isekai'd at one point, and now he's a pharmacist because he can make cool potions that people like. And here are his fun times with cool potions. Okay, so we're ready to do one arm here. You gotta make sure I'm doing it the right way. Okay, put it there. That goes like this. This is gonna be the other arm. And we need shoulder connection pieces, which is C37. Anyway, this show, totally like fine to watch. I kind of fast forwarded through it because they introduce a character who is just another tsundere girl, but eventually she becomes less of it, and that's fine. It's a fine little show. Let's see. Was there any part that I really liked about this episode? Yeah, Elaine got introduced. She's the princess. I think we're going to meet a demon lord who is, of course, a cute girl in the future. It's nice that the little werewolf girl made friends with the princess. Like, that's fun. And she learned about, like, how the real world works. It's not fun that she has a crush on our main character. That's like a thing that I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. I don't know if I like that. Because he's older than her, but whatever. He doesn't seem to know that she has a crush on him, which is helpful. The best part of the whole episode of the pharmacist is that the the ghost that works at the store, which is a fun sentence you can say in anime, she just assumes that the reason why the lord of the area's wife wants to meet with Reggie is because they're having an affair. Like, she just jumps to a weird conclusion. She doesn't let that go, despite all evidence to the contrary, which is just very fun. I don't know. I thought that was a fun choice. Just be like, yeah, she thinks there's an affair happening, and then later she's like, oh yeah, didn't you solve that problem you had? It's like, no, that's not what's going on, lady. Now a different isekai that I kind of like a little better. It's not my favorite isekai of the season. That's The Realist Hero is my favorite isekai of the season because that's a That's a solid isekai. That's doing what I like to see in isekais. Um, but um, Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy is the story of a dude Makoto who got isekai'd, but then he got abandoned by the goddess that isekai'd him. And we find out even more abandonment. So she gave him the ability that he can speak all of like the demon races and understand them, all the like otherworldly races that are non-human. But he can't understand and can't he can common, which is the language that all humans use. He eventually learns how to like read common, but he can't speak it. Like people don't understand what he's saying, and that's a dick move. Like a human that can't speak the language of other humans. Like that's a real jerk move on the goddess's part. Um, so let's see. Also, the dwarves are like, hey, uh, accept our dwarven village into your cool paradise, and they're like, sure, make us good shit. They're like, you got it. And then also both the dragon lady and the spider lady have followers, and the mist lizards are exactly what you would think they are. They're bipedal lizard men and ladies. Um, and the Alka, which are the spider people or Alke, that's interesting. I think that's visually interesting because they look like the last incarnation or the last thing of Soma Spider. So what? Where they are spider torsos or bodies, and then like a human torso, like a centaur kind of looking thing. Uh, and they seem real like chill, which is nice. But our main characters, the dragon lady and the spider lady, get names. They get names. So now they're going to Tomoe, or sorry, Tome, uh, is the samurai lady dragon, and then the spider lady is named Mio, uh, which means zero and water because she's like starting over, and it's kind of an insult, but she doesn't take it as an insult, which is fine. Um, so anyway, oh yeah, so he finds a human village, Makoto, and he's like psyched about that, and they can't understand him, which I explained, which is weird. But also they're like, hey, what the fuck? What's up with this dude? This is clearly a monster because and they're like, oh yeah, your aura freaks everybody out because you have an aura like a monster because you're so powerful. And so he's like, oh shit. So he gets a piece of equipment. He wears a mask and some gear that will keep him from being overpowered and freaking them out. Then they travel to the city. They join a guild. That's gonna work out good, probably. And then like it looks like some people are gonna try to attack them. But also there's a young lady who approaches Makoto and Mio. And we get the sense that maybe she knows him or recognizes him or something. Because there are flashes in like the opening and closing that like, well, the goddess said, "I have other alternatives to you." So it's possible that that the goddess isekai people that he knows, uh, which is a shame, or could be. But I don't know. We got a young lady who's like, "Hey, what's up?" Um, so we'll see. Uh, right now it's above average. This isekai is above average. I kind of like the premise. I think like they're doing some fun stuff with it. It's a little bit by the numbers of the overpowered main character. I think one of the most interesting things about him is that he's really powerful, but he doesn't know how to use healing magic and can't heal himself. So that is like an actual like fatal flaw for a character that is pretty much like super strong but can still be hurt. Like that's interesting. So hopefully he'll be cool, or it'll grow and be fun. But I am liking it right now. I'm digging it. I would like to see more of it. Okay. The last anime I want to talk to y'all about is the Aquatope on White Sand. Aquatope on White Sand is an original series by PA Works. It fucking rules. It is the closest thing we got to girls being into a thing, one of my favorite subgenres. Um, your laid back camps, your super cubs, your uh, after school dice clubs. It looks super sad. So there is some sadness. It's not. It's a drama, but there's a lot of hope to it because it is people who are in rough positions, but there's a charm to it. So I do think it. Look, I don't think. I think it's going to work out because also there's a supernatural element to the Aquatope on white sand that I think is really interesting. Um, because there's like this water spirit character that has made some appearances in the background, and that is cool and weird. Like the sometimes people have like weird visions at the aquarium, including one of our main characters. Um, so our girl Fuka, she's had to give up her dream of being an idol, and she doesn't want to go back home because they were like literally going to throw a party for her return, like a cheer up party, and she was just like, I can't face people. I'm not ready to deal with this. So I'm not going to go home. And she just kind of ends up in Okinawa, where she like is sent to the aquarium by this girl Karen who works for the tourism board, tourism association. Karen's just like, well, if you need a place to go to the aquarium. Uh, and that's where Kukuru works. Kukuru's grandfather owns the aquarium, and she is the acting director this summer. She is still in high school, um, and they're on summer break, and it looks like the aquarium's going to close, and Kukuru does not want that. And we find out in this episode that her favorite memories as a child were going to this aquarium with her parents, who passed away when she was young. So a lot of her memories that she has uh, of her folks were from that time, um, which is which as I said, is sad, very sad. Um, uh, well, they're trying to make the best of it. This episode's big action was, well, a couple little things. Uh, Kukuru's childhood friend, Kai, he's going to work there this summer, so now they got more muscle, which is good. Um, and also Kai clearly has a crush on Kukuro, like obviously has a crush. But he like talked to Fuka of like, hey, this is what happened with the kid. There's an incident with Choco, who's one of the penguins. Choco's got some issues. Maybe has a I don't. There's got to be a scientific term for it, but the show calls it bumblefoot, which is apparently a thing that penguins get. It's like penguins in captivity don't move around as much as those in the wild, obviously. So this penguin is like needs, is getting this kind of like horns on their feet, basically. Um, and so they're like, we need the vet to come. Well, the vet is on maternity leave, and she is very pregnant. She's past due pregnant. So it can come at any time. And it does come at any time because that baby wants to come out and she is at the aquarium and nobody there has a license because there's a vehicle but they can't use it and the taxis aren't coming and everyone's freaking out. And that's when the veterinarian has like a weird hallucination where she meets her future child who's like, I can't wait to meet you. And it's all in this water escapade and it's kind of beautiful and weird. And it's part of this thing where you're like, hey, why is there magic in this show? There's a little bit of magic in this show and it's weird that that is there, but also cool that that's there. I don't know. I don't know why there's magic in this show, but it's neat and looks beautiful. Um, and Anyway, Karen from the tourism board shows up because they called her because she's got a car and she drives them to the hospital and Fuka goes with her and everything works out. Baby's fine, mom's fine. Kukuru gets yelled at for calling the vet instead of calling her grandpa. Uh, but in the end, everything works out. And Fuka, thinking about how moms and seeing like, the miracle childbirth, she finally calls home because she is like basically said like, hey, I'm staying with friends. I won't, she hasn't explained what's going on, and she texts her mom. It's just like, hey, The fine people at this aquarium are looking after me for the summer, uh, which is, look, I'm going to guess her mom's going to show up, or maybe her dad too. I don't know, but like, it's very clear that we're going to have somebody show up because now she knows where they are, so or they know where she is. But anyway, um, it's a very good show. It's shot beautifully. I am very encouraged about it. I just think it is just neat. It's just a neat little program. And the penguins in this episode were animated fantastic. They just look rad and cool. I'm a big penguin fan. So anyway, that's an anime that I think is fucking awesome. Aquatope the Aquatope on White Sand is one of my favorite shows this season. Um, and I think that it is a great original that is out this season because there's some good originals this season, but they are the types of shows that I am not interested in. Like, I bet Sunny Boy is interesting to me visually, but it's a weird kind of maybe going to turn into a battle royale thing, and I'm just not into that kind of show. So I like my dramas a little more down to earth. Uh, But I also know some people who are just like, Sunny Boy! And they're just like psyched as shit about it. So I'm psyched for them. Anyway, I did say that I would end this stream because we got some time left. We're still working here on the core of the fighter here. Um, that I would talk about some wrestling stuff because do you like Isekai a whole lot? Yes. So not Sly, because we'll get into wrestling because I know that you are interested in that, which is nice. Have you read Majesty's Swarm? I have not read that. I often my manga reading is usually shows that have come out and I don't think we're going to get a second season of, so I just start reading it because I want to read more. Um, so that often is my goal, my thing for that, and I usually don't read stuff like just on a whim. But I do like isekai. Isekai is a subgenre I enjoy. I enjoy it as a starting off point, and I like the recent trend of weird ones. I like the weirder isekai, the non-traditional stuff, the non-modern weirdness of it. I think is fun. Um, uh, Speaking of which, I'll probably talk about that on Saturday. I ran out of Kuma Bear to read, so now I gotta wait because I've been buying the what do you call it? I've been buying the volume releases instead of the chapter releases because they're released on Book Warden in Bookwalker, I should say, in volumes. So I gotta wait for August to read more Kuma Bear, which is weird because yeah, they really managed to run with the genre, which is mega surprising. Ooh, okay, all right, I like that. The thing about Kuma Bear is the anime is really more like really more closely at one point just starts following the light novels because they just like wanted to conclude a big story. Uh, so I have now watched more than I've read because they just skip a bunch of stuff and kind of just go, well, we got the light novel part of this, so we'll just do that, and it's weird. Anyway, that anime made some very strange choices, and apparently we're getting a season two, which seems weird, but Kuma Bear is fun. Anyway, we're gonna talk wrestling for a moment here. So there were some surprise appearances on AEW, like Chavo Guerrero and Nick Gage, and a gentleman from Bullet Club whose name I can't remember because I don't follow Bullet Club that that much. So I do apologize for not remembering that gentleman's name. Uh, Jay White, yeah. But we had some people doing some things. Uh, yes. Oh yeah, we'll allow the knife pervert, which because that is his name. So I'll get this out of the way. I'd rather Punk and Bryan don't come to AEW. Yes, Lashbrook is saying Hikolo. Hikolo was the gentleman that was there. Jay White was on Impact. Yes, Jay White showed up on Impact, um, which also could mean that he could wrestle in AEW because, open up that door. But Hikolo was the guy that showed up there. Yeah. Look, I'm pretty psyched about Chavo. I'm pretty psyched about Chavo, like Guerrero. I don't know. I like the idea of Chavo and Vicky on the same brand. I think that is fun. I also think that's how you turn Andrade into a face. Is that Chavo turns on him, which is just like classic shit. I think that's cool. Also, I like the idea that Chavo, who is not old at all, is going to be in the old man manager role. That's just funny to me anyway. But the big news is, and as Lashbrook says, the rumor mill says that CM Punk and Daniel Bryan are both AEW bound. Now, one of those I believe to be true, and the other I don't believe to be true. I do believe that we will see Daniel Bryan in AEW. I do not believe that we will see CM Punk as a wrestler in AEW. I could see him as an announcer. They don't need any announcers right now. I don't think CM Punk wants to wrestle on television again. I think CM Punk will take a big paycheck, but I don't think CM Punk is even going to work a relaxed schedule. And I know a bunch of people are saying it's a done deal. Both of them are a done deal. That's just my heart because, like, the dude does it. The dude practiced MMA. He does it like, I don't know. Daniel Bryan, I think, will want to be a regular and want to get in there. Ironhide says the Earthree is good. Yes, we're doing the Earthree. I keep calling it the Earthree, but it's the Earthree. Yeah, working on the Earthree, and we'll be putting some custom parts on it in the future. Daniel Bryan using AEW as a stepping stone to get Japan. Well, it's he gets a U.S. thing. He doesn't do his own deal in Japan. He can work in Japan. They'll give him whatever he wants, right? He can work other places. He can work indie dates. If he wants to work in Washington for a company that comes through for nothing, they're not going to bat an eye because their people can do indie dates for other companies. If he wants to turn up on Impact, they're going to be happy with that because there's a wrestler there that he wants to work with, or have that wrestler come to AEW so he can work there. Like, D-Bry makes a lot of sense to me. It feels like a thing. The Punk stuff just still doesn't feel like a thing. I just don't think he is like interested in wrestling. So Iron, the text you see above the photo is my marker guide. That is to remind myself the colors I am using for the markers. So I'm using black on the yellow pieces, the gold pieces here. I am using gray on the white pieces, and I'm using a brown marker on the red pieces. That's just for me to remember. And then I don't have the blue pieces included because I talked about this earlier in the stream. The Anima Rize kit came with, you only used these parts here, and then this part here for the Anima Rize, and all of this is clear parts that weren't used on that kit. These are Earthree parts. So the parts that are blue here, with the exception of these two parts here, all the rest of this is clear. So I'm going to use. I was about to ask if you wanted a set of those clear parts because I have a set I don't need. Yeah. So one of the reasons why I got the Earthree is because I had this from the Anima Rise, which came out later, but I built first. So I am going to be using, instead of the blue pieces, with the exception of, I can kind of lean this over here. The exception of these two blue pieces here, I'm going to be using clear for everything else, which I'm very excited about. We're not ready to do that yet, but that is a thing that we eventually will be able to do. Um, but in actual news, it's good that AEW officially signed Thunder Rosa. Yeah, you were expecting it. Also, not Slide. Thank you for that offer. I do appreciate that. Thanks for looking out. But yeah, it is. It's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, Thunder Rosa. Like it, I forgot she wasn't, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. She was quote unquote on loan. Uh, but yeah, um, I would like to see. We're still expecting Fugo to get signed. Yeah, I mean, like, so there are a few people that I'm not sure who they're. Yeah, Fuego del Sol isn't signed. I don't know. I don't know. Not Slide. You wrote both of those statements. Oh, he's not. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. I don't know. Look, I don't pretend to know all of the stuff there. Um, I think that the NWA women's tournament is going to bring in some people that were let go. I think some people are going to end up in Impact that were let go. My expectation being that those. So the Iconics are in a tough spot because they are not U.S. citizens. So they need someone to sponsor them. I don't know if Impact has the money to do the money or the interest to do that. So it would have to be AEW, is my assumption. Who don't seem to have a problem doing that. So I don't know. But if I was going to put them somewhere, I'd put the Iconics in Impact because there are women's tag team belts there, and that's where you would probably want those ladies to be. Um, I mean, I would put Ruby Soho, which is what she's going to go by in AEW, in a heartbeat. Um, Although also I could see her showing. Honestly, Ruby is going to do indie dates, and I could see her showing up in Ring of Honor, possibly. Uh, Keep her northern roots going. Um, but we'll see. I don't know if I even said this on stream. I'm so glad she went. I think Ruby Soho is a great name. It reminds people that she was Ruby Riot, which is good. It doesn't use the name that was given to her in a promotion that she doesn't want to be associated with anymore. And then also isn't the name of an adult film star. So that's good. It is such a sick name. You're right. Because Heidi Lovelace is just like Heidi Lovelace, first of all, it's not a good name for the character that she's portrayed. And two, is the name of an adult person. Yes, it also, yes, Ruby Soho reminds you of Ruby and is also a banger song by Rancid. Uh, so it is a win-win-win. It's good all around. But when you hear that name, you go, oh, I know who you're talking about, which is important for somebody trying to remain, in the business. Um, but I could see her showing up in Ring of Honor and indie stuff. I don't know if she's going to show up in AEW. Uh, she'd do well there, but yeah, it's like interesting to think about who's going to end up where and who's going to do what. Um, uh, and then Matt, I forget what last name he's using, who used to be Aiden English, has some stuff planned, and that's good for him because he's going to work in a couple places. Uh, and good for him, including like the English commentary team for some Japanese stuff. And it's like, that's great. Good for that dude. Glad he's getting work. Seems like a good dude. I feel bad for AEW because they obviously had all these plans for the women's division and they kind of ruined it. So I don't feel bad for them when it comes to their women's division because I do think that a good portion of their division was Japanese wrestlers. Um, Here's the thing I would like AEW to do: have someone actually care about their women's division because it feels like they care about Britt Baker and then the end. Like they kind of like they put a lot more interest in the NWA title than they did their own title. And it's a shame. They have a lot of talent there, and you're lucky if there is a match. In there are matches in their YouTube shows, but their regular television show has one match if you're lucky, and it's frustrating. It's been very frustrating. They should be doing a much more. Yeah, I guess they have enough local talent. Yes, they could be doing more with the talent they have. They've signed great people. They have people coming in. How come? What's the, to me the Impact deal is occasionally Kenny goes there, and then the Good Brothers are basically just now AEW people. But what about all these really talented Impact? If you want to see some fucking up and coming talented Impact wrestlers, like women wrestlers, they're at Impact. Like there are some very fucking stellar wrestlers there, and it's weird that they haven't come through the door. Um, but yeah, I mean, so much of that tournament was aired on YouTube, and that was very strange. And then like we got some promo stuff, and it was cool. And then like Maki Ito coming over was rad because Maki Ito was fucking over with people, and it's great because she's just incredible. And the fact they didn't sign her is so strange. This is like that's just money. Yeah, they didn't sign her. She is one of the top grossing wrestlers on Pro Wrestling Tees. It's like you could make some of that money. You could have AEW like that should be enough to sign her. The fact that people were just like, yeah, like, and they wouldn't like her being an AEW star wouldn't like take away her Twitter thing because it would like who cares? Like they wouldn't care about that. It's so strange. They have such a great opportunity with her. They've got years of her being incredible. Her gimmick is so over. She's so over with the crowd. She could be a heel that the audience loves. She could be a face the audience loves. Unbelievable that she went back. I was like, wait, what? She's not the best wrestler. No, I mean, no, she's not the best wrestler. But also, they have great female wrestlers there that they also don't do anything with. So whatever. Yeah, that company is frustrating. Which is why I understand why some women have chosen to go to Impact because the money's not there. Like Kimber Lee is working full time as a veterinarian and also part time as an Impact wrestler. A huge focus on her as a wrestler there, in big storylines. But she's a full time vet because Impact doesn't pay the bills. So it's like, but she's still wrestling way more than she would at AEW. You know about Kimberly? Yeah, yeah. So she was a bartender when she was doing Chikara stuff, and so when I was in Philly, I would end up. That is a bar where indie wrestlers would hang out in because they know Kimberly. So I've met her through some people a few times, and she's great. I was so psyched when she went down to NXT with Heidi. That was fantastic. And then Liz was like, oh, kind of a bummer. I didn't know if her gimmick was going to, either versions of her gimmick were ever really going to translate in NXT, and they didn't. But there was a bunch of reasons why, probably. But yeah, she's awesome. And yeah, no, she is a veterinarian. She was studying to do it for years and put that on hold to go down to NXT. So, all right, we're gonna call this a stream. I'm gonna take a photo of this because we finished the core. We've got weapons to build. We got to build the weapons, and then we're gonna build the Earth armor, which is gonna be the components on the Earth armor are gonna be some of our clear parts, which is gonna look pretty great on the stand here, the Earth armor, satellite thing is going to look real good when we put some clear pieces on that. And then we'll put those clear pieces on our kit eventually. But what do we do at the end of a stream? We raid. That's what we do. We are going to find someone awesome out there who is streaming, who I think is a cool, rad person that I would like you to get to know or see their stream. Sometimes those streamers are model kit builders. Often they are just people hanging out. Uh, People that I think are cool. So we're going to see who is doing stuff, and we're going to go raid. I mentioned Heather earlier. Heather is playing Legend of Zelda, Lunar Jade. She's playing Skyward Sword, I should say, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So we are going to go raid Lunar Jade, who, of course, did my panel, my PAX panel. So she's playing that. So let me just get this ready. Sorry. Hit the raid channel button. Pick. Well, is she done? Let me see. Sorry. Looking at a thing. There we go. Yeah, so we're going to go raid. And there we go. Set that up. Sorry about that. Feel free to come along this raid. I think it's going to be fun. Heather's great. And tune in on Saturday as we continue working on this. We finish the core fighter, then we're going to start working on the armor. We'll get to the actual customization with the clear parts, which I'm excited about. And I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday, a great Friday. Stay awesome, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.